The bottom of the barrel of competition is gone, and the top, the flight to quality, it's intense. The market's back. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. It's May 26, 2020 as I'm filming this. The market is back. You see it, I see it. Showingtime.com, looking inside the MLS, Google Trends, homes for sale, and every major portal, plus your website, and absolutely the interest rates. It's all giving us the perfect storm. And my question for you is, are you in it? Are you in it? Now, I know I'm coming at you hot. Listen to me. I've been doing this for a long time. I know when it's go time. I know when all the signs tell me it's time for me to jump into action. And I also know you might just be the one person that's watching this and saying, but Tom, you don't understand. Or Tom, I'm just not at level 10. I'm still just kind of stuck in my head and I don't know what to do, but I'm watching you either way. I wrote down a bunch of thoughts. Are you ready? I actually wrote down, if I was your coach, I'm not asking for the job, I'm just saying, like, context. Me and you, walking Balboa Island, talking on a Zoom session, having a chat, I would literally say to you, there's 4 things I'm asking all of my clients to do. 4 things. If you're one of my coaching members, you know. If you're in Pivot, you know. 4 things I'm asking all my clients to do. And as a coach, 4 things I'm asking you to track, measure, and ultimately hold you accountable to move the needle in your business and optimize the opportunity in front of you, recognizing, I know my energy is hot right now. June, if you're in the US, June to about October 15th. If you're anyplace else in the world, it's June till about November. In the US, we have an election cycle coming up, and boy, oh boy, is it gonna be bananas, which tells me I got June, July, August, September, October to get everything done, to make this year remarkable. And you know, and I know, the vast majority of agents, they've mentally furloughed themselves. They've mentally taken a 10, 12 week unpaid vacation, which means there's less competition and more opportunity for you. But at the top, there's competition, right? Because the flight to quality right now from the consumers, they're looking for the best agents. You, right? So there's gonna be more competition there, but not down here right now. There is nobody competing with you. So I asked myself, what are the 4 most important things? What are the 4 most important things I'd hold you accountable to? The same thing I'm talking to my clients about. Let's go them through one at a time. Number 1, motivation matters. Motive matters. If I said to you, hey, look, I believe that between June, July, August, September, October, November, as an example, that you could have a massive breakthrough in your business. You might say, but Tom, I don't believe I'm capable of that. Listen to me. That's a lie you keep telling yourself. A limited idea you continue to entertain. Stop lying to yourself. You're capable of so much more. You're like, no, Tom, I believe. Okay, let's do it. What do I got to do? I'm going to say to you, the first thing is, you got to decide what you really, 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 really want. Like, the thing that's been fascinating about what's happened over the last, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 weeks, 13 weeks is how clear some people have gotten on what truly matters to them. Family, the house they live in, the way they work, how they interact, right? I would challenge you to say, if you're gonna go for something great between June and October 15th, June and the end of the year, I'm gonna tell you, you gotta get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Now I'm not doing this like I'm trying to nag at you. I'm telling you that people that are vague get punished. You know it and I knew it. Hey, what's your goal for this year? I wanna do a little bit more than I did last year. Punch you in the throat. You know that you're not going to achieve anything. It's like some safety guard that you have, or no one told you that in life, the more clear and specific and measurable and trackable you make your goals, you achieve them. But when you're vague, I want to lose some weight, nothing happens. When I say, I want to lose 10 pounds before my 50th birthday, which means I got this much time, now all of a sudden, it's actionable. I can do it. I can take it into bite-sized pieces and I can make it happen. But here's the hook. The real hook. And the thing that I'm working on with my clients is many of them are so darn successful that I gotta reignite the fire in their belly, right? The fire in their belly. Because you know what? When you're already number 15 in the world on the Wall Street Journal list, or number 17 or number 34, or you've been making $1 million a year forever, you've saved your money, you've done okay, and right? No. The opportunity right now is so great. We got to get the fire in the belly to get us going, to do the things that maybe we stopped doing because the market's been so good for a decade and a few months. Think about it. Here's what I wrote down. I'm considering asking every one of my clients to write me a check for the politician they don't want the money to go to. Ooh, just think about it. Tristan, imagine, right? Everybody sending me checks to the political party that they don't want the money to go to. What do we know? The science says we are 2.5 times more motivated by the fear of that, the loss of that, the upset of that, than we are from the pleasure of actually achieving the goal. So let's use that to our advantage. Get out your checkbook, make that check payable, make it a reasonable but painful dollar amount. $10 is not going to do it for you, except for some of us, you'll see that face or that name and you'll be like, ah! And here's my point. You add that leverage, and you and I both know what's going to happen. Right now, all of a sudden, you give that check to someone. You give it to your coach. You give it to me. You give it to your manager. You give it to someone that you know will stand for your greatness. You don't say, I'll just keep it myself, because you know you're never going to send it. You're not going to follow through. Don't be a candy ass. Give it to someone that says, I love you, I got your back, I understand your commitment, I know why you're trying to do it. You got a daughter's wedding you want to pay for, you want to pay off this, you want to do this, you want to get out of debt. They understand your motivation. And then guess what? I've done this so many times with people. It is literally 10,000 to 1, one person I have to send the check. And what's always great is when it's like a female and I say, who do you want me to send that? Who would you never want to get the money to? Oh, my ex-husband. Oh, perfect. Give me 7 checks for $100 and I'll write him a little note. Dear honey, hope you're having a great time. Have some extra cash. If you need more, just ask. And you send that guy a check. Whoa, I did that once. And it was painful. And that woman had a massive breakthrough in her performance because she got that this was real. You got to put your you-know-what on the line if you truly want to be exceptional June through the end of the year. You got to interrupt the pattern of just being mediocre, being accepting of a little bit versus a lot, because that's what's available right now. I think you get my intensity and you get the point. That's the first thing. Now, here's the second thing I wrote down. This is more interesting. You might need to get permission to perform. Think about what I just said there. There might be someone in your life that's like, hey, wait a minute, if you do that, then we're having a break of time, or I need you, or, we've got this sort of built in the way we always do things. And now all of a sudden you're saying, hey, I really got to assert myself, right? I didn't make the money I wanted from January to now, and I got to go hard and I got to do everything in my power. And we all know, in the world of a startup, and you might be 20 years in the business and feeling like a startup right now, that guess what? A startup requires 10, 12, 14 hours a day. It could be 7 days a week. I remember when I started my company 16 years ago, I pulled my wife aside, who I've been married to for 27 years now. And back then I said to her, baby, look, I built businesses before. I know it takes a decade to really do it right. It takes a decade to figure it all out and to make it repeatable and to make it scalable and really make it something that's sustainable that we can have for a long, long time. It takes a decade. That's been my experience. I said, but because I've done it before, I can shorten the time frame and do it faster, but I'm really going to have to apply myself. I'm really going to have to work. I'm going to have to coach and create and do this and do that. And I said, so can I have permission to do that? Recognizing I know it puts pressure on you. And she's like, baby, let's go, right? Now you might say, well, I'm single. Well, then you have no excuses. Here's my point. You know how easy it is to buy on Amazon? There's no resistance. What stops so many of us for really getting our potential is that we let the resistance stay there. We don't address the resistance. I'm not saying go to your spouse and say, it's your fault. Don't do that. That's bad, right? Instead, hey, baby, this is what I think, and this is what I need to do, and this is I'm asking for permission. How can we do this? How can we navigate it? How can we make it happen together? And guess what happens? When you remove the barriers, my longtime buddy, my partner in this business, we say it all the time. You know what you do? You force success. It just becomes natural. It just becomes automatic. Ask yourself this question. What is the resistance that's stopping me from putting in the time, the energy, the focus, and the results that I ultimately want to produce. Maybe it's you don't like your working environment and you need to change up your home office, right? Maybe you need to take the closet and make that your home office. I don't know, but I know this. Ready? If you keep blaming the resources, you're going to stay small and you're not going to get the results you want. If you can become a little more resourceful, right? I was said to my VP of operations yesterday as we were talking about working now remotely, and I'm like, well, come on, man, you'd come with me on the road. What would I do? And he's like, I know. You take the ironing board out in the hotel room, put a box on top, open up my laptop, put my headset on, and go. Be resourceful. Do not let the resistance stop you. Number 3, I know I'm going hard and fast. Your success is important to me. Listen to me. You got this. You got this. I know people that have had much worse situations than you could probably imagine. And guess what? They found the motivation. They found the fire. They found the hunger. They were able to have the conversations to remove the resistance. And sometimes it's just up here, but then we got to get real tactical. I want you to list more houses than you've ever listed in your life, in your career, in the next 5 or 6 months. So what do I know? You need to redo your listing presentation. I know this is going real simple, but consider, you ready? By the way, the entire month of June on the Tom Ferry Show, that's what we're talking about. All the pieces. Here's the pieces. Ready? Do you have a pre-listing package? Yes or no? If you do, what's in it? What does it include? Is it enticing? Does it pre-sell you? Does it validate you? Does it give people an understanding that the degree of separation between you and the competition is very real? Right? How do you qualify? And again, pre-sell when you're over the phone. Like, do you just say, okay, I'll just come over? Or do you ask a bunch of questions to determine what's their motive for action? What's their plan B? Do you go on crystal nose to understand what the personality types are that you're showing up to, right? She's high D, he's high I. Okay, he's real expressive. She wants to go through the numbers. How do I make that presentation? Or do you just show up blindly and try and figure it out? Number 3, how do you start? You know, do you look at the house? Right? Do you do it by yourself? Do you do it with them? When you're doing it, what questions do you ask? Right? What do you reaffirm? Like, what's your process? And then number 4, I wrote down, how do you present marketing that blows them away? That they're like, how much do you charge for all this? And you say, gosh, I only charge whatever you charge, right? Like I only charge 6%, I only charge 5%, I only charge 7%, whatever you charge, right? But does your marketing plan blow them away and again show such a clear degree of separation between how you do it and others do it? And if you do that, you know what happens? It massively increases your value, right? It massively increases your value. And then how do you educate people on price? How do you educate people on price? What's your strategy there? When was the last time you upgraded that? Especially with what's happening in the world, right? Do you have better visuals? Do you have better examples? Do you have better stories? Do you have case studies? Look, here's what happens. When you do all this, and I still got 6 and 7, when you do all this and you fall in love with presenting, when you fall in love with helping identify what's their problem and how you can solve it and how your solution helps them get to what they want, then you'll go do whatever it takes every day to generate more appointments. It's really simple. I'm not talking about taking your entire presentation and throwing it in the trash. I'm talking about, like, it's an iPhone. It's time for an upgrade. Does that make sense? Now, number 6, and we'll go through all this in June. How do you transition to show them what happens next? So I've taught you about marketing and you're blown away. I've now taught you about price and we've sort of agreed on a general term or a range. Then what do you do to say, okay, so now let's talk about what's going to happen next? My stage is going to come in, this is going to happen, the photo, the video, and then we're going to unveil. Like, how do you do that? Do you do it the same way every time? Think about it. And is it effective? And then number 7, I wrote down, handling questions, handling concerns, handling conditions, and handling objections, and then ultimately getting the e-signature. So if those are the 7 pieces, right? Which needs to be upgraded? Which needs to be improved on? Which one really makes you stand out and ultimately serves the client in a meaningful way today? Does that make sense? So I'm asking all my clients, it's time for an upgrade. It's time to make it better. Let's get our confidence high by doing so. And then here's the last one. I know I've given you a lot here. Just go with it. It's called delivering value. I want you to win. You're gonna win. Here we go, number 4. I'm your coach. So what am I gonna say to you? Okay, what are the 4 to 7 daily disciplines? We've talked about these things before on the Tom Ferry Show. What are the 4 to 7 daily disciplines that will move the needle, right? That'll move the needle. Look, Brushing your teeth is a wonderful discipline, and sure, it's helpful, but it doesn't move the needle in your business. I'm saying Tristan's laughing. I'm saying what's going to move the needle in your business. I wrote down a couple things you're going to decide. You know your business, you know your clients. Number one, a morning routine. Something that gives me confidence, right? Gratitudes, affirmations, exercise, whatever, walk the dog, listen to an audio program, something that gives me, meditation, prayer, confidence. Then the data download. I'm going to look at the MLS and I'm going to study it, days on market, what's selling, what's not selling, what's going on, to really understand it, because that's also going to give me confidence. I might look at showing time again. I might look at what's happening on Google in terms of trends. I'm going to look at the interest rates, and my confidence level is going to go up. Then number three, I'm probably going to do a little practice, 10, 15 minutes. What are the objections I'm getting today? We'd love to sell, but we're really nervous, and we keep hearing that prices are going to go down, or hey, we want to buy a house, but we keep hearing prices are going to go down. Show us the deal. Whatever you're hearing, shouldn't you practice it? Right? I don't care if you do it by yourself, right? Just practice, like, hey, I'd say it like this, and I do it like this, and whether you look in the mirror or you don't, doesn't make a difference, or you get with somebody else, you do it on Zoom, you do it over the phone. Practice, right? The dollar amounts that are at stake when you're not practicing and you're just rolling the dice on whatever comes out of your mouth is frightening to me. Practice. And then I wrote down appointment setting time. Now, I know you'd say, well, wait a minute, with prospecting? Listen. Appointment setting time. If I focus on appointment setting time, I get appointments. If I focus on prospecting, I get chicken scratches on a piece of paper. If I focus on lead follow-up, then I follow up and say, hey, you're still not interested? Okay, I'll call you soon. Intention is the game right now. Focus and concentration around what it is that I really want. I want to get my mindset right. I want to know the market. I want to be comfortable with what I'm saying to customers, to really articulate my message, to really connect with them, to listen and be able to solve their problems. And then I need to book appointments. I need to get as many as I can, like we've been talking about 2 weeks ago. And again, we'll continue to talk about it. And then how many appointments do you want per day? How many appointments do you want per day? How many appointments? And guess what? That becomes my intent, whether it's to prepare for the appointment or to continue to schedule those appointments so I can go serve customers. Now, listing launches and marketing and client service and everything else. But you got to decide. You got to decide. I wrote down, just kind of to wrap this up. I know a lot of people have doubt. I know, I have a tendency to maybe sometimes make it sound easy. That's not my intention. It was very hard for me, as it is for you, to build a business, right? The blood, the sweat, the tears, the energy, the effort, the times, the upsets, the mistakes, right? What I know is success leaves clues. And when you do what works, you get great results. That's why I'm sharing this plan with you. I want you to win. And I wrote down, what if just for the next 6 months, you gave up doubt? What if for the next 6 months, you gave up the limitations? What if for the next 6 months, when that stupid thought shows up in your head, like you're not good enough or you're not smart enough or you've never done it before and this is the most you've ever had and you're probably gonna blow the whole thing, you just acknowledged it and said, shut up, and went back to work. Yeah, I've done that myself before, right? Every time you get to a level where you're like, I haven't been here before, guess what? That little story starts kicking in for you, for me, for everybody. But what if just for the next 6 months you said, I'm going to hear the thought and let it go away. I'm just going to keep moving forward. I'm going to have faith in myself that I can go serve. I'm going to have faith in myself that I will figure it out. I'm going to have faith in myself that I can navigate this and I can handle more. You with me? That's what I'm asking. If you got to doubt something, doubt your limits right now, because the bottom of the barrel of competition is gone. And the top, the flight to quality, it's intense. And everything I'm talking about today is designed to get you to win in that new level of competition where you belong. Thanks so much for watching. Can't wait to see your comments.